Hi, welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. Hope you're well, hope you're good. Right, what we're going to do today, we'll just go through all the horses we back then. So we'll have our Ante-post roundup. We've got a new name to add to our squad. And we'll just have a chat about some of these races there at Cheltenham. I'll just give you my early thoughts on them. You may need a flask, but I've kind of got to keep it to about an hour. So we'll see. Right then, so we'll kick off then with the Supreme. We got 1 point, William Money 25, still 25s. Champion Hurdle 3 points, Lossiemouth 14s, now 7-2. 3 points, Ballyburn at 10s, still 10s. Mares Hurdle 2 points, Jade Jagruzi at 20s, she's now 6s. Browns, you got your flask ready. We got 3 points, Reading Tommy Wrong at 20s, now you can get 25s. 2 points, Shannon Bob 50s, still that price. 2 points, Better Days Ahead 25s, still that price. 1 point, K de Bourbon 33s, and a point at 25s, now 20s. And a point each way, Croke Park at 66s, and you can still get that price. The Mares Chase, we're on 3 points, Brighter Days Ahead at 8s, she's now 3s. Gold Cup, we're on 3 points, Factor File at 12s, now 4s. A point, Corbett's Cross at 20s, still that. And a point, Spillane's Tower at 40s, he's now 20s. And then we did, this has haunted me for a little while, but we did have a 2 point double, Ballyburn at 8s. For the Champion Hurdle, and Lossiemouth at 5-2 for the Mares Hurdle. There was some good logic in that, but also a bit of red wine, but there you go. Right, so that gives us all together, we've got 30 points on and 8 points in the bin, in the recycled bin. 6 of those points aren't ever getting recycled. The other 2 points is Il Atlantique at 20s for the Arkle, so he's sat there in the recycle bin at the minute. And yeah, that's that. Other races, we've got no points on these are just horses we've backed there. We're on Iroko for the Hennessy at 14s, he's 9-2. Yeah. We're on Faster Slow for the King George at 10s, he's now 4s. And I know the way you're thinking, for the National at 33, still that price. So I went through all these prices on Friday and they're alright then. I'm just quoting the top prices at like a bookies, it's not a Mickey Mouse bookies, like, you know. But some of them are only that price at maybe one bookie, and if you can't get on with them, then you can't, you know. So yeah, that's where we are coming into the season. Last year, before we did well. We got a 50 points plus profit on the season. No guarantees we're going to do that again this time. If we can get close to our money back, I'd be happy enough with that. But we'll try our best. We will. Do think, I've mentioned before, just at the minute, I think it is pretty difficult this year for Cheltenham. Right then. So we'll kind of just go through these. We'll just have a little chat about some of these races then. So the Supreme, yeah, we got 1 point down, William Money at 25s. I'll just go back a little bit. We did have a point on Brighter Days Ahead at 16s for the Turners, but you should have got that back if you did have a little bit on that. Yeah, Well, just them other races first. You know, we talked plenty about fast or slow, didn't we? And I know the way you're thinking last time. Happy with those. Iroko, yeah, there's only Unibet price this horse up. We had a little bit on him at 14s. I didn't have much, we had a little bit on him there. 9-2. That is a terrible, terrible price. Don't back this horse at 9-2 for the Hennessy. He may not run there. Connections did name check that race after Aintree. Hence, we had a little bit on him at 14s. He looks to me like ideal for the race. But just recently, they're saying like the National is his main target. So he may or may not take the Hennessy on the way, but he's in the low 150s. You've probably only got one handicap in you off that kind of mark, I'd say. Yeah, so if they've got a big red ring around the National there, yeah, I wouldn't even say he's a certain runner in the Hennessy, so that 9-2 is just a god awful price. So yeah, we called a bit on him, even though the price has come in. I expect when another bookie's prices him up, he'll be put in at like 8s or 10s or something. But yeah, if they were to really target it, I'd really like him for the race. I just think that's in some doubt now, but we'll see. Back in conservatory again today, aren't we? And yeah, it's raining. It always does, doesn't it, when we go in here? So I apologise if the noise comes through a little bit. It's just starting now. So yeah, right, Supreme, William Money, we got a point at 25s. I don't mind that, I don't. I think this will be his target. If he's good enough, he'll be running in the Supreme. So that's one hurdle negotiated. It's just really if he's good enough. But he is the best bumper horse in Ireland, according to his trainer there, Barry Connell. To be fair, he were impressive when he beat Wingmen, and that form has really stood up. But as we said at the time, he were a bit flattered. I wouldn't read that form too literally because Wingmen were a bit wild that day. He put in no doubt a better performance when he followed it up when he went on and won at Punchestown Wingmen. So I'd be a bit flattered by a literal interpretation of that form, but he was still impressive that day. Yeah, as we said before, his last run's not bad. He came third in that Grade 1 at Punchestown, didn't he? Behind Redemption Day. He never, to me, I'm not sure if he were quite, maybe the ground, he just didn't seem to travel within himself through the race to my eye. I just kind of got that feeling from him. He got a kind of bad track position, but he stayed on well. He found some trouble trying to get through, and he stayed on nice enough. I think a lot went wrong in that race, and I think he's better than that. And that is still good form, Could maybe target the Royal Bond with him. He did that with Marine Nationale, didn't he? That's a possibility. Willie's not really flying at that time, so maybe he'll go there. Yeah, I don't mind it. We've only got a point on him, haven't we? Yeah, that's fine at 25s. It does look open, the Supreme, as you'd expect this time of year. It's 12-1 the field, which is kind of nice, really. So just running through some of the others there. Redemption Day and Jasmine DeVoe. You can get 12 to 1 either one of those two. Redemption Day will be an 8-year-old. It's clearly had some issues. I'm not sure the track for him. He did put the performance up of the season in bumpers last year, but yeah, I'd be fairly cold on him, I think, for the Supreme, personally, right now. And same with Jasmine DeVoe. Won the bumper, but looks on the small side, and you just wonder, has he got the scope to improve there? And you do need to improve from your bumper season all the way through, don't you know? And we got 16s, Jeroboam Bashan. Yeah, we liked him, didn't we? He looked exciting, picked up a bit of an injury. I don't know much about that. So he's got a little cloud over him, but certainly if he were to come back in fine form, he'd be very interesting. But you couldn't really be backing him now, I'd suggest. And we've got Gordon Elliott's pair here, Romeo Coolio and Jalon Duderiz. I remember thinking at the time, I think we said, didn't we, we're taking one from that bumper, it would be Romeo Coolio. Jalon Duderiz should be a nice stare in the making. You'd imagine if he's splitting these up, if he is, I mean, he's probably got plenty more ammo, but you know, if we were to split these up, you'd imagine Jalon Duderiz would be going Gallagher's and Romeo Coolio may be a Supreme horse, although he may also end up Gallagher's. I won't put anyone off Romeo Coolio at 16s if you wanted a little go on that. It won't be for me just at the minute, but you could argue a case there. Looks like he should improve plenty, but ultimately he's probably just a chaser down the line. So yeah. Then we get to the 20 to 1s, and here we find Salvador Mundy and Mullins. Yeah, now he's got that good form with Sergino, hasn't he, in France. Didn't make his debut for Willie till the Triumph, where he came 6 to 12, beating 17 lengths behind Masborough. That's a fine run, you know, you can't knock that. He did wear a hood and a tongue tie first time in that. Then he won like an egg and spoon race at Tipperary by 62 lengths. You know, his form's worth nothing, but that's like Gaelic Warrior kind of distance, isn't it, you know? And interestingly, he left the tongue tie off that time. Yeah. He's had a little time off, hasn't he? I won't put anyone off him. 20 to 1 for Willie, and the other one there is 25 to 1 Kopek de Boards. Yeah, I think I'm a bit rusty first time up last time. I got nice and fat over the summer there. I was thinking after I did that video, €200,000 bumper, it can't be, can it now? And it wasn't. It was 60,000 bumper. Yeah. I will make the odd mistake, you know, as I go along there. I don't know where I pulled that figure from, but yeah. But yeah, he won that anyway, the same one, Brighter Days Ahead. And as I mentioned last week, I like him. I wouldn't know if he goes Supreme or Gallagher's. So, in summary, I'm happy enough with a point on William Money. I'm fine with that. If it's to recommend another bet now on the race, I'd be saying Salvatore Mundy or Kopek de Boards for Willie. I won't put you off any of those two. And that, yeah, that's just my kind of thoughts on that at the minute. champion hurdle. Right. We've got 3 points on Ballyburn at 10s and 3 points on Lossiemouth at 14s. Ballyburn, as I mentioned previous, I made a mistake with this. What it were, about half an hour before he ran at Ballymore, I just had one of these thoughts, as you do. And I just chucked a small little bit on him at 33s for the champion hurdle. And then I made the mistake of trying to back him to win the same here. So that's a mistake on my part, So I suspect this is going in the bin pretty soon. He couldn't be definitive on that, but when you look at what he's got, Willie, for the champion hurdle, the State Man, Lossiemouth, possibly, and Mystical Power, I just can't see him staying over hurdles when he's got those three there. I guess scrapping the Turners, he must have been pulling his hair out, Willie, with this. He must have been, because I think that was his race. I do. That probably makes it just slightly more likely he may stay over hurdles. It's got to. But still, I think this guy's going chasing. I do. So I think that'll be going in the bin. Lossiemouth. Yeah, we love Lossiemouth. They've name-checked this race more than once. You still can't take it as read, though. You can't. There is a world where we get there. State Man's still unbeaten. He's been mopping up all these grade ones again. Mystical Power could have improved and come through. He could be coming into a race on a roll. He's not really maybe got one at the time for the Mares Hurdle, and yeah, you can see it happening. She could end up in the Mares Hurdle, and the betting will tell you that, because you can't get better than 2s on her for the Mares Hurdle. Okay. But saying all that, I would love to see her in this race, and it is a big possibility. It is. It really could happen, and I hope it does happen. And if it does happen, 14 to 1's a fantastic price there, If we just run through the others, we've got Constitutional, 7 to 4 favourite, best price. It's one of them in heat. I couldn't say you're mad if you take that, because he could get there at 1 to 3. There's that potential in the price, which is what you have to be an Ante-post, but you're trying to get the value, aren't you? You can take 7 to 4 and he could end up 1 to 3 on the day. He's that good, and if he gets there anything like his best, he wins. He just wins. I think he's the best 2-mile hurdler I've ever seen. And I saw his to brag. That's just my opinion. Don't be getting upset with me. But I think on his day, like in that Supreme champion hurdle, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a faster, more rapid 2-mile hurdler than him. He's just something else. He's a different planet, he is. But, and it's a big but, he didn't get there last year, did he? And he's had his problems. He's taking 7 to 4 for a horse at this time of year for Cheltenham that missed the gig last year. More than one problem. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. It won't be for me. I can see the logic. I can, but no. It's just 7 to 4 for a horse that's got issues. No, I couldn't do it. We've got Lossiemouth at 7 to 2 there. Yeah, we like her, but still she's got the Mares Hurdle as an option. You'd rather take 7 to 4 when you know she's running, I would personally. I think she's short enough at that. With she's not nailed for the race. State Man 5-1. That looks a kind of fine each way bet, doesn't it? Ballyburn, we've covered him 10-1. Mystical Power 14s. He's interesting. He's got to improve, he has, but his graph is like that. He could, he's got to improve plenty, but he could improve plenty. Won't put you off a little dabble at 14s, But hand on heart, when you look at some of these others here, I think, to be honest, I think we've got the bet there. 14's Lossiemouth. We had a bit of value in that market, and you've got to be happy with that. I think I like to go with my kind of initial reactions, and I remember after watching the Champion Hurdle and then the Mares Hurdle last year, thinking Lossiemouth would have beat State Man. I think she beats State Man at Cheltenham. I do. If she beats him in Ireland, I don't know, but we might not find that out either. I can see her maybe coming across for that race she won last year. She could go, I don't know, she could go Christmas Hurdle, International, something like that. I think Willie will send these horses over to England a bit more this year. And yeah, I think getting the £7 off State Man, I just don't think State Man's at his best at Cheltenham. He's a fantastic horse, he is, But getting £7 off him at Cheltenham, there'll be some dig in the ground. Yeah, I'd like her. I do. Right then, so the Mares Hurdle, we got a nice little bet on Jade DeGrugy at 20s there, and she's into 6-1. Yeah, I like her, I really like her. We said at the time, didn't we, that Mares Novice Hurdle looked the best running of that we've ever seen. It turned into a bit of a car crash of a race, didn't it? It did, but subsequently, she came out at Fairyhouse very quickly. He turned around quickly there. I don't think she were at her best that day, but I was so impressed at how she gutsed it out, So she still went up in my estimations. I think she's better than that, I do. I think she won despite not being at her best that day. I'd like her for the Mares Hurdle, I would. But, and it's a big but, the same connections have Carl Geese there. Chances are they'll probably split them up. One will go chasing, one will stay over hurdles. I had a little look on Betfair. She's quite weak on Betfair, Jade DeGrugy. Just looking at the horses, if you were saying you're going to send one of these over fences, you'd say, well, we'll send Jade DeGrugy over fences, and that might be how it plays out. It would be a shame, but you normally get a bit of heartache early season, don't you, with these sort of long range bets, and I suspect we might be in for a bit with her, so, yeah, but we'll see, but I think she may end up over the fences. I never wish any bad on any horse, I wouldn't, but I'd love Carl Geese really just to pick up some knock, and just have to miss the season, but yeah. So then, we look at the race, Lossiemouth there at 2-1 now, because, there's a fair chance she'll end up in Champion Hurdle. Obviously, if she were confirmed for this, it should be more 1-2, but what can you do? You can't back her at 2s, I don't think. Cargeese, yeah, well, we got Jay Jagruzi at sixes there. Next in is Cargeese at eights. Personally, so I did say this last year, I'm not sure about her. It is tough for a 5-year old. I know Lossiemouth did it last year, but to me, she's no Lossiemouth. If she learns to settle, yeah, you can. You know, she's got that pace, hasn't she? If she did stay the trip well, yeah, she'd be interesting. But personally, she's an horse. Until I see her do it this year, I'd be kind of against her. Golden Aces there at 10-1. I do, like we say, we like that them novice mares from last year. I think that's a fine price, to be honest. Golden Ace at tens. This is going to be a target, I think. Well, she could end up in the champion. Yeah, to me, it's a no bet race. This at the moment it is. Obviously, we've got a great looking bet at 20s, Jay Jagruzi, but it could be going in the bin. The Browns, right. Through these then. What have we got here? Reading Tommy wrong. Yeah. Many horses have blown out in that Albert Bartlett and then come back the season after and, left that well behind. Especially these big horses, they can get quite weak towards the end of the novice season. I suspect that's what's happened with Reading Tommy wrong. He's a fine big chasing type. Yeah, he's interesting. Shanna Bob, yeah, he looks a dour stayer. He was green last year. I like him. Wheels fell off, didn't he? He didn't get to it. Didn't get to Cheltenham. He ran at Aintree. He ran poorly there. You could put a line through that. Nicky's having a bad time still, and that he's better than that. He is. So he's still live. Better days ahead. Yeah, love this horse. He's, since his bumper days, he's looked all over a 3 mile chase of the future. Took the Martin Pipe out last year, which has been, fantastic. A fantastic trial for classy staying chasers. With galloping and plenty of horses took that out. Don Polly. Yeah, he looks all stamina. Yeah, he's interesting. He's live. Kay de Bourbon, yeah, we really like this horse. We chucked him in that life changer there, didn't we? Yeah, I do love this horse. He was only 5, weren't he? In that Martin Pipe, the other horses, were a bit older there. He looked quite raw to me last year. I think there's a ton of improvement in him. He looks all over 3 mile chaser, so I think physically he's going to improve, and he should improve for 3 miles as well. I do really like him. He's got a lot of potential to improve there. You sort of back in the improvement with him. And Croke Park at 66s. I love this horse. I do. He's a proper strapping, old-fashioned 3 mile chaser, isn't he? Yeah, wheels fell off again a bit last season towards the end. Same comments apply. It often happens with these big chasing types as novice hurdlers. They just get a bit weak. They need time to fill that frame a bit. And often, yeah, they just done enough. And on art, he might be more a Thyestes horse one day, but you just don't really know yet. I think he'd be one. I think he's going to be a proper strong stayer. At 3 mile, you just look at him. The size of him, horses like that can sometimes struggle on that tight, twisty track on the Wednesday. You know, he'd be one if it came up like really testing. Soft to heavy. If there was some heavy in the ground, it's going to be a big field this year at the Browns with all the changes. Yeah, you could see it. He'd be one grinding it out I think this horse will stay 3.5 in time, So yeah, if it turned into a proper war of attrition, just 66ers. Yeah. So yeah, we're happy with that. It's a bit mad, isn't it? But hopefully it'll turn out well for us. We'll get one or two through there. Just looking at the others, front of the market, Ballyburn 6-1. Yeah, I mean, he could be Ballyburn, couldn't he? He looked special last year. He was just better than all the other novice hurdlers. He confuses. I'm confused with his target now because I did have the Turners penciled in for him. He's 5-2 favourite for the Arkle, 6-1 favourite for this. Breeding would all point really towards 3 mile, wouldn't it? And the Browns, But you look at the winners of this Gallagher's or Ballymore, and I remember saying last year we looked into it. I think only 2 had won it in the last 10 had won at 3 mile plus. You need a lot of speed for that race, and I know he's bred all over for 3 mile, but I remember saying last year he reminded me a bit of Faheen. He were kind of freakish, with the speed he showed. I don't know if 3 miles is going to be what this guy wants, really. I'd have some doubt there. Until we see it, we don't know, do we? We don't. But yeah, in my own mind, I have got some little doubts there. If he's really going to truly end up being a 3 miler, the way he races, he's got that bit of keenness about him. He's got no right to have that speed at 2 mile that he's got. We'll see. Dancing City kind of, taking Ballyburn out, he'd set the standard for this race. You can get 12s on him, that's fine. It's up to these other horses we've got in our little mini squad there, isn't it, to improve past Dancing City over fences, but I think there is plenty of scope for that, Mashbur's there. We love Mashbur, we do, but a 5-year-old in a Browns like this, that's a tough ask. I'd be surprised if he ends up here, personally, I would. We do love that horse, he's one to follow. I suspect with the Turners going, he may be one to keep over hurdles now. I don't know. He could end up, but I'd say he'd be more likely to end up in the Arkle than the Browns, I'd have thought. Right then. New name to add to our squad. I talked a bit about him last week, and he's Gaelic Warrior. We're going for it. Champion Chase, Gaelic Warrior, 5-1 top prices. That I think at Paddy's Betfair and Sky Bet, I believe. 5-1. We're going 5 points. We're going in hard, fairly hard on him. And we're looking at that list. We've only got actually bar Gaelic Warrior now. one horse back to single figures, and that's better days ahead. So we've got some nice prices on there. Now, let me get the negatives out of the way first with this. I can understand if you don't want to play this, I can, because there is some gamble on this, and at 5-1 this time of year, it don't feel entirely comfortable, this bet. Let's put it that way, because if you're backing something at 5-1 this time of year, there shouldn't really be any gamble in it, in the way that there is with this horse. But it is, at the end of the day, it's just a game, isn't it? You know, dance like nobody's watching, play it your way. We like Gaelic Warrior, and yeah, he could end up in the Ryanair. That's a gamble, isn't it? You know, he could go for the King George. You know, he could go John Durkin, King George, and maybe either Gold Cup or Ryanair. He could go that way. He could. You know, and if you're taking that view, you'd reference the 3 mile he won over as a novice at Punchestown. You know, looking back at that race, in hindsight, it were a piss poor race though. And, you know, watching him that day, I weren't sure for a lot of the race. It was really quietly ridden, which was unusual for Gaelic Warrior. I don't think he went anywhere like on that day. He was just miles better than the other horses, you know. And you could say it was more his speed that won it him. When he come through, he just different gears, weren't he, you know, to the rest. Is he truly a 3 miler? I don't know. I mean, if you're saying he's a 3 miler, you're using that race. If you're saying, you know, his class at 2 miles, you've got the Arkle. You know, as poor as the Arkle were last year, it were on a different planet to that 3 mile hurdle race it won. So yeah, but granted, he could go, you know, the longer way. I don't think he will. I took the chance here. What time are we on here? Right. Okay. Yeah, a lot of it would revolve, you'd say, around El Fabiolo, wouldn't you? Right. He's got basically Willie, he's got El Fabiolo, Enigamine, and this Valente. Now, Enigamine for me is going to be 11. It's had a year off the track, you know. Enigamine, don't get me wrong, is the best 2 mile chaser out of these. He is. I think, you know, criminally underrated, really, by myself maybe as well, you know, at the time. That last race he won, his last champion chase, he was awesome that day. He just, yeah. You know, and to be fair, the horse he beat was Captain Guinness, weren't he? And he came out and won last year. He was some machine, Enigamine, but he's going to be 11 and he's coming off, you know, missed the entire last season. He's coming off injury. I don't expect he'll even get there, to be honest. You know, for me, you couldn't be entertaining him anyway. So really, it's El Fabiolo, and we did like El Fabiolo, didn't we? But he has got questions to answer now, you know. But you know, if he comes out and he looks great at 2 mile, yeah, Gaelic Warrior may well get pushed up to the Ryanair, so that's your gamble that you're taking, because he is kind of versatile, isn't he, Gaelic Warrior? Now, on the positive side, and we've kind of covered the negatives here, I thought in that Arkle, I mean, I've watched it back a few times in this last week, watched that back again. He's taking a tug, Paul. I mean, that's the quickest he's ever been over a fence. And he's taking a tug, Paul. And by the way, you know, out of say the big three you'd be looking at here, like John Bon, El Fabiolo and Gaelic Warrior. Gaelic Warrior's the best jumper. You know, he is the best jumper. He was fantastic last season. But yeah, he's taking a tug, you know. I think the faster he goes, the better he is. I do. He's just mad. He is a bit of an egg case, this horse. He loves going quick, I think, and yeah, I think I do. I like him. He looks. I think he's going to win the champion chase. I do. I think the quicker they go, the better he is. Say he's the best jumper out of those three. If you know, Fabiolo's not back to his best. You know this. We've got the Fortria Grade 2, haven't we, in November, and the Hilly Way Grade 2 at Cork in December. Willie normally descends like his best 2 miles to them. You'd hope he runs in one of them. You know, the John Durkin's there, he could go there, and he could split Enegamine and El Fabiolo up, you know, in between the other 2 races there. And maybe he might do that, maybe. And then see how those 2 get on, and if he's not happy, then he could maybe bring Gaelic Warrior back. If he is, then maybe he'll push Gaelic Warrior out, you know. But I think Willie knows this is going to win the champion chase. This Gaelic Warrior is. But yeah, there is some gamble in that, and I can understand if you want to hang fire for a little while, you know. He has got the potential to go there odds on the day, you know. So yeah, I'm taking a punt on this guy at 5-1. If you want to say 5-1 in a price, you should be taking a punt on. Yeah, I'm fine with that. But it's a game, and it's my game, and I'll play it my way. So we've gone there. Marine National, we'll give him a quick mention. Yeah, he's coming off an injury and possible breathing issues. Probably his best fresh. I think if you look at his record, I think he needs a nice long gap between his races, but he's got a few issues now. I can see him being very impressive, maybe first time up, you know. I was just thinking as well, can you imagine if Gaelic Warrior came across for the Tingle Creek against John Bon? That would be some race, wouldn't it? It really would. Because John Bon, to me, looks fairly unbeatable at Sandown. Gaelic Warrior first time up right-handed. That would be some race. I'd pay to watch that, I think. Don't know if that would happen or not. May come down, I guess, to the ground on the day. Maybe on the better ground you'd be fancying John Bon there. And if it came up like, you know, soft heavy, Gaelic Warrior, yeah, maybe. But certainly when they get to Cheltenham, so I don't think John Bon's at his best at Cheltenham. As we've seen in the last few years, it seems to be we're going sort of soft, on the soft side, aren't we now at Cheltenham? I think, yeah, if it's sort of soft, Gaelic Warrior, champion chase. So that's that one. Alright, we'll do the Mares Chase. We'll save the Gold Cup for last day. Mares Chase, yeah, we got 3 points. Brighter Days Head 8-1. Yeah, I love this horse. I do. If you've been watching for a while, you'll know about this horse for the Mares Novice after she won that bumper first time out, and I don't know that, you know, when you follow a horse, it's brilliant national hunt racing, because when you see a horse there that you've never seen before in a bumper, and you kind of adopt them, don't you? And You follow them all the way through, and you kind of feel like you own a part of them. It's great. It is, and I'm like that with her. I love her to bits. She's stunning to look at. Looks all over her chase. I think I read somewhere she's going chasing like the turn isn't there anymore, so it's got to be this mare's chase, hasn't it? I'd have thought. She's into 3-1 now. She's another one she could get their odds on. And yeah, I think she's a superstar. I know she got beat there at Cheltenham, but as we say, that was a car crash in a race. She came out at Aintree and she made all them horses look just as slow as Ballyburn made them look, didn't she? Yeah, I think she's class. I think she'll take this at odds on, and then I think she'll take the Ryanair the year after, maybe. Yeah, I think she's that good. I think she'll beat the boys the year after. For the Ryanair boys win their own money back, and then maybe they'll have a look at the Gold Cup the year after. Eh? But getting ahead of ourselves there. But yeah, I think she'll take that. I think she'd getting £7 off the boys. I think she'd take a Ryanair out. I do. I think she's that good. But we haven't seen a jumper fence yet, have we? So we'll see. But, right then, and then Gold Cup. This. I mean, we got 3 points factor file at 12s, a point Spillane's at 40s, and a point on Corbett's at 20s. Happy with all those. Factor file. Yeah, I mean, he were probably our biggest success last year, weren't he? We backed him this time of year at like 28s for that RSA, and he ends up winning at odds on. I sat here last year before the season kicked off, and I said if we could get 100-1 on this guy winning the Turners or the RSA, and then the Gold Cup the year after, that be interested in that. And all season, I know hundreds you're not going to, are you? But basically, before he jumped the fence, we were after the price for him for the Gold Cup. We ended up with 12s. He may have done a bit better than me. I don't know. I probably missed something along the way. But we're on at 12s and he's 4s now, so that's fine. Yeah, I mean, he's got gears, and he's exciting. He's hugely exciting. The odds will tell you that. Galloping 7-2, he's 4-1, and it's 12-1 bar. Hugely exciting horse. May take in the King George possibly. He could go John Durkin. He's got pace for 2.5. I suspect we'll see him in the John Durkin, and then Willie'll decide after that. And he'll give fast or slow at a race there, he will. I thought. Yeah. I mean, he's 7, rising 8. He's took 3 out his 4 races there. He's a lot more scope. There's a lot more to come from him. As I mentioned last week, I think he's best. He's got just this high cruising speed, and maybe he wouldn't sort of try and lead all the way. But I think he'd go at his own natural cruising speed, which would be handy. And then he's the sort of horse he can take it up like 3 out, a bit like Arlo, and just destroy horses from there. Sort of from like 4 out, 3 out in a race is that kind of pace profile. Yeah, he's going to be exciting to see this year. Spillane's Tower, we had 40-1 were just a massive price, weren't it? Loved this horse last year. He was one we kind of followed all the way through. He's won 4 out of his 7. He finished off winning 2 Grade 1s there, where in the last those beat Monty Star, runner up to Factor File in that Browns He ran 7 times last season. He's had 7 chase runs, all coming last year. He wears no sort of headgear. He's only 6 now. You know, he'll be rising 7 for the Gold Cup. So he's got some kind of constitution there, hasn't he? I like that. And he still looked kind of raw last year to me. I think there's a lot more to come. He's got some pace there as well, and he could be one, one of these, one of JP's will probably end up dropping into a Ryanair, and he could be a candidate for that, but, we'll see. 40 to 1, which is massive, but yeah, we like that horse. Jimmy Mangan, it's nice for him to have a good one, isn't it? Corbett's Cross, yeah, I mean, he won a 4-miler last year, didn't he? Just bounded up the hill. So impressive. He'll be 7 rising 8. But his run after that really at Aintree, that got me. I mean, he stepped up as a novice against the big boys there, and he went down by less than 3 lengths to Jerry Colomb, the Gold Cup runner-up. That were a hell of a run for a novice, that. I think that earns him a crack at this. We'll see how good he is. He's another one he could possibly drop down to the Ryanair. You'd say he'd have to brush up a little on his jumping there. Sorry, I've got this bright light, I can't see much here, but yeah. Yeah, he'd probably got to jump up a little bit on his jumping there, but he kind of improved as the year went on. He's getting there with it. We've got plenty of contenders here. Monty Stars, 25 to 1. We love Monty Star. We won at 50s last year, weren't we? I didn't even back him each way. I hope you backed him each way. Yeah, he's runner-up to Fat to Foul, weren't he? And then runner-up to Spillane's Tower. 2 grade ones at the end of the season. He's an exceptional jumper, he is. And he's only had 4 chase starts, there's plenty more to come from him, and also he should be well suited, I think, to that extra stamina trip of the Gold Cup. 25s, yeah. We've got Grey Dawn in there at 16s, yeah, he's 3 from 6, Turner's winner last year, weren't he? Stayed on strong at the 3-mile at Warwick the time before. He'll be 7 rising 8. He was a little bit immature, I'd say, last year, but he was more professional on his last run in the Turners there. He's really exciting, and he's going to take some whacking this side of the Irish Sea, and he is. I think he's 2 to 1 favourite there for the grade 1 at Haydock, and you can see why he's going to take some beating in that. Jerry Colomb, we love this horse, don't we? Jerry Colomb, he's 12 to 1. Yeah, runner up last year, beaten 3.5 by Galloping. They were that part of the race, weren't they, where Paul kept him in twice, twice that race. He definitely kept him in at some point anyway. Good race riding from Paul. He won lucky to finish, he could have finished a bit closer there. He's got less mileage, hasn't he, than Galloping, and you wouldn't be surprised, it wouldn't be a shock if he were to turn that round this season. Much will depend how, if Galloping can keep that bar where he set it. Faster Slows there at 12s, yeah. King George winner and waiting. Yeah, he won fortunate at Cheltenham, weren't he? He's got the better of Galloping 3 times round Punchestown. Cheltenham, we just will never know. He was travelling fine. It seemed a soft unseat, that. So, we like Faster Slow. He's there with his chance. And then right at the top of the pile here we've got Galloping, haven't we? 7-2 favourite, reigning champion. He's after a hat trick of Gold Cups. He's 8 rising 9 now. Winner 9 of his 13 starts. He's got beat 3 times, hasn't he, by Fastest Slow there at Punchestown, and the other time with that unseat, weren't it, in the Turners Bar. That is unbeaten. He is the horse. He is the horse. He's the real deal, isn't he? He sets that bar, and the other horses have got to get to him. You know, he's a legend. I'd love to see him take the 3 Gold Cups. It's some race. We've got 8 big contenders there in my mind. They're all between sort of 7 and 9. You know, this is a stacked Gold Cup. This is a Gold Cup for the ages. It's got the makings of it, and you know, if you can't get excited about this, I don't know. You know, yeah, that looks some race to, you know, look forward to. Champion Hurdle looks exciting, doesn't it? Potentially, we've got the likes of Lozybow, you know, State Man, Constitution Hill, Gaelic Warrior, you know, Ballyburn. It is, you know, going through all this, it's starting to get the juices flowing a bit now. Just 2 things I want to just give a quick mention to before I go. Yeah, the Arkle. We haven't mentioned the Arkle yet. We've got Ballyburn there, haven't we? And also Impera Pass. I think Ballyburn's 5-2, Impera Pass is 10s. I have been given some thought to backing Impera Pass at 10s. Right, you look at these, and for me, there's 2 standout pieces of 2 mile form amongst these novices, as good as like Firefox and you know, some of these other horses look. Slade Steel. You've got Ballyburn, 2 mile at the DRF last year, slammed Slade Steel, didn't he, at 2 mile. That is some form, that. And then you've got Impera Pass, lost by around 3 lengths to State Man in a grade 1 at 2 mile. Them 2 pieces of form are some way ahead of what anything else has achieved yet. I don't know if Ballyburn goes here or not, and to be honest, I don't know if Impera Pass does. I mean, I backed Impera Pass early on Ante-post last year, but I backed him for the Turners, and that's just the one thing that puts me off. It's like, I backed this horse for the Turners, and then you look last week, we were looking through the Turners winners, weren't we? And the last sort of 5 or so, at least anyway, wouldn't have been, you know, a consideration in an Arkle. But still, you know, that 2 mile form is still there, isn't it, over hurdles? So I'm not sure. I'm a bit confused. Maybe I'm overcomplicating it a bit. Maybe we should just back him at 10s, but I don't know. I just don't know. I think Mirrors West will make some exciting 2 mile chase, that will do. Fernie's little brother, isn't he? He's gonna be something to see his chase debut. That should be a good watch. He's got loads of pace. You just wonder about this left-handed thing, don't you? But yeah, I mean, yeah. So I wondered about the Arkle a little bit, and then the one thing I meant to give it a mention last year. Do you know? Last week, this new race, this you know, in replacement, this 2.5 mile novice handicap. You know, we liked yeah, my notes are a mess. I made some notes, I can't even barely read them, you know. Last year, the Martin Pipe race, yeah, we like that form. I've got a feeling that's going to work out, you know, them front four horses. The one horse I didn't think really had a race really I liked, but there were no race for him, was Waterford Whispers. You know, we followed him, didn't we, through the season. But to me, he was like a 2.5 mile chaser, but not maybe a Turner's horse, you know, maybe not that good. So he didn't really have a race. This new race could be just made for him. It could be perfect. He ran in that Martin Pipe off 133, subsequently got put up a couple of pound. His Irish mark's 135. The English may give him a couple more. He could be a 136, 137 sort of mark over here in England, over hurdles. That will give him some scope. It's JP, it's Bromhead. I'll be keeping a very close eye on Waterford Whispers first few chase runs. Yeah, he just jumped straight to the front of my mind for that race, so I'll just give that a mention. And there you go. I've got to wrap it up. I've got stuff to do. So yeah, thanks for your time. Then we'll be doing a 10 to follow soon. That'll be out in the next couple of weeks. I'll start having a look at that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. I'll see you again soon. Bye.